Hey crafty people, welcome back to my channel, and in case you're new here, I'm Sarah, also known as Craft Nerd because I'm a nerd who loves to craft. I do paper crafting, card making, junk journaling, and mixed media art. Let's get crafting! Alright, welcome back for another Mass Make Monday. So I have my timer set for 45 minutes. We're going to give this a start, and I have learned from the past Mass Makes, we're going to try to make 6 today. We're going to keep it to a reasonable number and hopefully get them all decorated and done. And what we're doing is Roxy's weekly challenge week 2 for 2024. And if you haven't seen it, it's a flippy pocket made out of book page. So I've got some book page here, and we're going to start by folding the top piece down a little bit because this is going to reinforce the top of our pocket. So I'm going to assemble one completely so you know what we're doing, and then we'll assembly line the rest, and then we're going to pick a side and fold over for our flap. Just be careful if you are using vintage or antique book page that your book page isn't like cracking. Like I had pulled out some antique book page I have that I was going to use, and I tested it out, and as soon as I folded it, it started cracking apart. So I was like, all right, we're not using this book page. And then we're just going to fold over to our flap. Hopefully getting that straight so that the flap still works. Grab my bone folder to help us along here. So you've got the little flap here. Now we are going to cut away this piece because we don't need it, and notch in here a little bit just to take out some of the bulk. So how is everybody doing today? I have a feeling I may have to pause this because, of course, right before I started filming, my dog desperately needed to go out, and he is not one to stay out very long. Like, well, correction. The one who isn't prone to staying out too long desperately wanted to go out. The other one had just come in but figured, oh, if my brother's going out, I'll go out too. So one of them's likely to stay out for a while, and the other one's likely to want to come in because he's a pain in the neck. All right, we're going to glue these two flaps down. We're going to glue that flap down. Now, what Rachel did was she took a scrap strip of paper and cut it to size. Folded it in half and attached it on this end. This way, if you do that, you don't end up losing any of the pocket space because we'll glue this part closed, and so you'll have this full space for pocket. So let's, as opposed to if we had to run a line of glue down there, you'd lose a little bit of space in your pocket for where you glued. So let's attach this guy on here. Like so, and I am just using, when I fussy cut stuff, I end up with all sorts of strips of paper. You know, when I fussy cut out, you know, digitals and such. And then we're going to run glue here and along here to glue our pocket closed. We're going to fold over, smooth everything down. And so we've got our hinged pocket. Now I know Rachel put like plain paper attached to this flap to create a writing space. I think I'm going to hold off on doing that for now and just make the pockets and decorate them. This way I can decide when it's going into a journal, because the pockets she envisioned would be ones you like clipped into your journal and then you pull it out and have the journaling space. And I'm just not sure if I want to do that or leave it so that I can make it a flap or what. So I think I'm going to hold off on doing that. So that's our first one done. Let's go ahead and we're going to assembly line these guys this time around. We're going to fold down, and I'm using the part that was closest to the spine of my book so that the jaggedy bits are inside. And so I think the last Mass Make Monday video I was telling you that we had plans for last weekend to go to the Asian Lantern Festival at our local zoo, which we did. And I will say one thing that was a lot nicer this year over last year was it was not freezing cold like it was last year. Well, Florida cold. Let me clarify that, because Floridians, which I guess technically I am because I've been living here so long, tend to get colder at higher temperatures than people who live up north, because, you know, I used to live up north, and yeah, I definitely cannot handle the cold as well as I did as a kid. So it was not too cold this time around. And last year we went to a local German restaurant for dinner before, and we ended up eating outside. So on top of the fact that it was a rather cold night, we had eaten dinner sitting outside because otherwise we were never going to get to the Asian Lantern Festival with the wait time at the restaurant. And okay, so I'm pulling over my thing. You can see I have 38 minutes. I'm going to pause it and go deal with dogs. Okay, and we're going to start back up again. So this is just proof I did not cheat on our 45-minute time limit. So fold over that. So as I was saying, we got to eat inside this year, and it was me, my dad, my sister, her significant other, and his teenage daughter. So her significant other got me the best Christmas present, which I got last Saturday. It said, "Bob Ross ugly sweater that lights up, has him painting happy little trees." And like on the sweater, his afro's fuzzy. I mean, it's fantastic. I don't know when I'm gonna wear it because, oh my goodness, it's heavy. And according to the label, you can't wash it because it lights up and there's no way to remove the light up part. So I'm like, that's really not going to work very well in Florida. It may be one of those things I put on for a few seconds, take a picture of myself in, and then just enjoy the absurdity of without really wearing, because yeah, a sweater you can't wash in Florida is not going to smell the freshest after your first time wearing it, because it's just too stinking hot for big bulky sweaters most of the time. And I'm not sure how well this book page is going to hold up. May end up putting some washi tape along there just to reinforce it. All right, and this is our last page. So we are definitely going to have plenty of time to decorate these guys. I have some more book pages to the side, if we should manage to decorate all of these and still have time left to do some more. But I figured let's do 6, because I think that's how many Rachel made. And I was like, all right, let's try and be a little bit more reasonable and instead of trying to make a gazillion in 6, so that we actually have time to decorate. All right, so we've got all our folding done. I'm gonna come in and cut away all the bits we don't need. So the festival was amazing. It's so cool. They do these giant light up sculptures is essentially what they are. And this year, I don't remember them having them moving last year, but some of the pieces moved this year. Like they had a genie in in a lantern. And basically they had the lamp, the lid of the lamp pop up and the genie pop out. Granted, it didn't go very fast. Like, it wasn't like a big pop up. It like slowly rose and went down. At the very end, they had like a volcano golem kind of creature that when you stand on a footpad in front of it, it activates and it stands up and he asks for like spicy hot ice cream and then pretends like you told him that the only ice cream available is vanilla and chocolate and tells you to keep it. It was so cool. And like they changed the lanterns each year, because last year when you first came into the festival, it was all kinds of pandas, and this year it was pink flamingos. They do the animals of the Chinese zodiac each year, but last year they did it in kind of like a Ming vase, like blue and white porcelain style, and this year they were more, you know, cutesy characters. So they did that, and I think last year there was one spot where they had this like really long section of boardwalk where they had like a long body of a dragon, and then this year it was a phoenix. It was rather funny because we're all standing just past, because as you're walking along it, you just see parts of it until you get to the end, at which point you realize it's a phoenix and not a dragon. And so we had gotten to that point and walked past it so that you can actually get, if you walk past it, you can get kind of like an angle where you see the whole thing. And there were several of us standing there looking at the lantern when a guy comes across and makes some comment about it being a peacock. And me, my sister, my sister's, you know, significant other's daughter, and at least one other woman was standing there, and in unison, without even, you know, thinking about it, we all went, Phoenix! So that was quite amusing. So, all right, let's glue these flaps down. But a wonderful time was had by all. My dad suggested that, because we ended up going, we had originally planned on going in December, but due to inclement weather, they canceled it the Saturday we were supposed to go. And the only weekend that worked for us to go, like, so we were allowed to either get a refund or reschedule. So we rescheduled, and we rescheduled for the last weekend. Oh my goodness. Like, there's a 1/4 mile drive to get from the main road to the parking of the zoo. It took us like 30 minutes just to do that. It was insane. So yeah, it was very busy. There was definitely another group with us that were very inebriated, but they were having a good old time. So yeah, it was a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to going again next year. My dad suggested we go earlier. You know, he's like, when does it run from? And I'm like, I think around Thanksgiving through to mid-January. It's like, maybe we should go like the weekend after Thanksgiving next year. I'm like, okay, Dad. So I have a feeling this is going to be an annual event for the family. All right. So this is the last one that we need to do this, and then we need to do our little flaps, and we'll have like a half hour-ish to decorate. Excellent. We're actually going to get to decorate this time around. Woohoo! All right, so I've got, you know, just scrap bits that I'm going to use for creating the tabs. So yeah, that was last weekend. The weekend before that was my delayed holiday party. This weekend I have a hair appointment. And then next weekend I am taking my dad to see the Fellowship of the Rings, the first in the Lord of the Ring movies, in concert. And if you're unfamiliar with this idea, is what they do, and I may have mentioned this before because last year we went to see the 6th Harry Potter movie in concert. Let's go ahead and glue this close. But what they do is our local Philharmonic plays the movie score, and they show the movie on a big screen like above the orchestra. So instead of being in like the orchestra pit, the orchestra or Philharmonic or whatever it is up on stage, and they're performing the music for the movie, and the movie's playing. So it's really cool. I mentioned before, my dad and I have gone to 6 Harry Potters, although he is not a fan of the last Harry Potter movies, so we may not be going to see 7 when it comes to in concert, because his comment after we saw the 6th movie was, he's like, yeah, I don't need to see 7. I didn't care for that one. Like, okay. So, but then they started doing the Lord of the Rings, so I'm guessing the next couple of years we will have Lord of the Rings in concert to go to, and then we'll see what else they come up with to do in concert. But yeah, my father is a big fan of classical music, and so when I was in undergrad, they used to have the local, I went to undergrad in St. Augustine, Florida, to Flagler College, and they had a series of concerts performed at our school auditorium by the Jacksonville Symphony. So he would come up, and they would be like on a Sunday, and he'd come up, and went to a couple of those. I know we did one where it was on a Saturday night, where my mother came as well, and we went and saw, it was Vivaldi's The Four Seasons, and I think it was Ravel's Four Seasons. I think he also has I can talk, really, I can, has a piece called The Four Seasons. So I think that's who it was. So since he enjoys going to those sorts of things, I suspect if they have a movie that he likes in concert, we will continue to go see those, because it's a good way to get him out of the house, and to get me out of the house, since I tend to be a homebody too. So that I will be going to next weekend. So that's going to pretty much take up all of my Sunday. So I'm kind of hoping I can get some extra stuff filmed this weekend, although so far I'm not moving too quickly on getting that done, since this is the first video I'm filming and it's almost noon today. We had another cold front come through, so it was rather chilly this morning, and my bed was nice and warm, and my dogs were nice and snuggly, and I did not want to get up this morning. So yeah, I had a hard time getting myself out of bed and moving this morning. All right, we got 2 more. And then we can start the decorating process. Woohoo! All right, so we're gonna have more like 25 minutes to decorate, but hey, that's still way more than in either of my last 2 mass make videos. So we will actually get some stuff decorated. try not to get the glue where you're going to glue the pocket shut. Oop. And do try to remember to glue all the sides of the pocket that needs to get glued shut. So, did you watch the Tim Holtz Live last week where he introduced the last of the inks for the Distress line? Or are you just not into the Distress inks? I watched it not live because, quite frankly, I have gotten so used to watching videos on YouTube sped up. When I watch them at normal speed, I think the person talking is sick because they're talking so slow. Which, feel free to speed my videos up. I will take no offense to that. And if you don't know how to do it, if you are watching on your TV, I know I've got a Fire Stick, and if I just push the little directional button thingy up and then scroll over to the little gear symbol and click on that, I can adjust the playback speed. And similarly, if you're on your computer, there should be a little gear where you can adjust the playback speed. I don't generally watch stuff on my phone because it's just too small of a screen. I mean, every once in a while I will because I'm checking something out just real quick, but I find I'm not a big fan of watching things on my phone. I'm getting old. My eyesight's not that great. wasn't that great to begin with, but age is not helping it at all. All right, so let's start decorating. Just gonna put that back in. And so I have got, let's see, start with that one. And let's do this one and make sure we know which side's up because we want to decorate the right side up. And I've got some papers, whoops. And what I tend to do with digitals that I want to collage with is I tend to cut them or print them two to a page. So let me just grab a tearing ruler. And I think I'm going to use, let's do that page, a piece of that for on here. I'm going to tear a strip down. Sorry about the glare from the metal ruler. Thinking where do I want that? I think I want it there. I think I'm gonna grab a regular ruler to tear kind of a straight-ish line. Say about there. So that can go like that, and then let's not have it go the full height. Let's do that. So we're going to do that for there, and then I've got some of these out over here that I haven't put away yet. And this is a digital by my Porch Prints. And let's do that. And I am going to ink my edges. And these are by Clip Art Treasury. Kind of like that one. And then let me grab mustard seed, and I'm gonna ink along the edges of this, although I'm thinking maybe wild honey would have been a better choice. by gluing that down. Do him right at the bottom like that. I feel like I need to trim that out. I didn't do it when I cut the piece out because it's a little tight in there and I was afraid it would get damaged. But now that we're putting it on something, we'll do that and we can attach that back on. Sorry about that. All right, it's kind of boring to watch someone fussy cut bits out. All right. So I'm going to ink my edges with Vintage Photo on this guy just to get rid of the white that's showing because I didn't fussy cut it too terribly close. Really don't feel like messing with that part. All right, I'm gonna glue this down and then we'll figure out if we're gonna put that little leaf on. Actually, no, wait, because I do want one more element. And I think what I want is that. I'm going to try and trim this a little straighter. Ink my edges. Actually, I think I'm gonna ink the whole dang thing. Just put that down and do this. So this is either Tim Holtz Stampers Anonymous or Creative Expression Sample number. Let's ink the edges in brown to make them stand out a bit more. And so what I do is, as I was saying earlier, when I print digitals, especially like pages for collaging like this, and I print them to a page, they print out as like 5x7s, and so what you end up having is a bunch of, I think I am going to do this, put a little glue here and a little glue here, white strips on the side that I end up cutting off and I save. Also, when I like strip down book pages to, take the white edges off, like the top, the bottom, the sides, to use the book page, I save those strips and then I just stamp on them. So yeah, I've got a whole bunch of numbers and random words stamped using Tim Holtz stamps, a variety of stamp sets, and like samples, dates from the past set. All right, do I want to add this little guy? I think I do. So we're gonna trim this off real quick. That's a crap piece of paper. Okay, do that. Do that. And make my life easier. Grab them with the tweezers and glue it down. So yeah, that's a great way to use up your little strips, is to stamp them instead of just throwing them out. All right, now we still have this side to do, but I think I'm gonna grab, all right. See if one of these pieces will fit. I think that's too big, right? Yep, that's gonna be too big. See if we've got one that will actually fit. And these I think are all the LianaScraps printables. I will of course double check everything and leave a list down below. Don't know that I want that going sideways. That's gonna need something else with it. That's too big. Oh, that fits. So I think we'll go with that. Yeah, I think we'll keep with that and then just add something else to it to add a little bit more interest. So if you can't tell, this one we're doing is going to go into the bee journal I'm working on. Those bees are all facing the wrong way. I think I like that. We'll go with that. I am just gonna use my dauber to get rid of the white. Now, obviously, inking edges is completely optional. I think we're going to go with the yellow for his edges, too. And I'm going to cut out between the antennae as I apply it to, like, right before I go to put it on, just because they're very delicate and it's easy to rip them off or lose them. So when I fussy cut out bees and butterflies and stuff, I tend to leave a lot of the white like between the antennae, so that if I want to keep them, they'll still be there when I go to use them again. Or go to use them, I guess would be more accurate. I actually want to darken those edges a little bit more, make it stand out a little bit more against. Well, snip this out. There we go. And I think I started asking if you had watched the live last week where Tim Holtz revealed the new Distress ink color and then got distracted that didn't finish my thought, which is not, you know, the greatest thing in the world, but hey. So did you watch it? If you did not and are not familiar, all right, so that one's done. The new Distress ink color and the last one in the line is Scorched Timber, which is a nice dark brown. All right, I was gonna do like too steampunky, too whatchamacallit, sewing themed, but I don't have enough time for that. Like, I'm looking at the timer tick down, since we've got a little less than 10 minutes. Let's move on and do a piece that will be themed for the whatchamacallit, sewing journal, and I believe this is my Porch Prints kit, and I'm just pulling out sponge sugar to ink my edges. So I'll do that. So like I said, the new color, and it's the last color, so the full Distress palette is 72 colors. I do not have all of them. I have many of them, but not all of them. And I've started building out my Distress Oxide palette, and that's something I really need to play with them more, get more familiar with them. I've been using the regular Distress inks for, you know, 15 years or so, and the Distress Oxides have not been out that long, and I have not been using them as much. So, but I don't know, I keep watching YouTubers like Louisa Heinzel doing really cool things with the Distress Oxides and felt compelled to get some, so now I really need to use them. All right, this is by Abroutiqu. It's gonna require too much fiddling with. You know what, let's maybe this one. I'm gonna go with that. I think we need a couple more things to go with it, because it's kind of like floating in the air there, so let's give it something to anchor. No, not that. Pulling this out because I think this is going to go on the back. We are going to do some serious inking on that. Attach that like that. And I feel a number coming on. And honestly, I really want to do some inking up here. All right, so let's start by getting this good and inked around the edges. I think what I'm going to do is I've got over here some stencils. This is PM Artist Studios, and I'm just going to grab this and just add a little bit of inking up here. I'm so not going to get to a steampunk one as the time is ticking away. So yeah, I like that. It just adds a little bit of interest. And I am probably, after we're done, gonna go around and ink all of the edges of these pieces. So you don't always have to cut out the white bits between. You can just go over it with a little bit of distress ink, and that will solve any issues. All right, so let's put this down. Figure out where that's gonna go like that. And I want this to go, do I want to go all the way down? No, I think I want to have it there. So again, I'm going to just add a little glue to this piece and set it down on top. And then they become one piece, and it makes it easier to get it all glued down right. Something like this to go behind it. This is, I believe, my Porch Prints as well. I don't know, I'm having a complete brain freeze on what kits I printed. Like I said, I will go back and leave links below. And again, I feel like I started talking about the new Distress ink color and then got sidetracked, and clearly I can't pick out stuff to go on a piece and carry on a conversation at the same time, apparently. But I did order it, and it did just arrive yesterday, and I am very much looking forward to playing with my new Distress ink color. I think I'm gonna grab that and put that there. Let's get that on. And we'll probably be able to start a steampunk one. Maybe not. Since I'm looking at my clock, I've got 2 minutes left. So we may just call it quits at decorating 2. But since it was 2 sides, it's really, we got 4 decorated. That's my story, and I'm going to stick to it. We definitely did spend more time decorating for this mass make than we have in the past. Again, it's still a work in progress. If you've got any suggestions, if there's anything you want to see me mass make, please don't hesitate to leave a comment down below. I always love getting comments. It just makes my day. It also makes YouTube think my videos are worthwhile and pushes them out to more people, so I would also appreciate comments for that reason. All right, yeah, we've got less than a minute to go, so we're not even going to start decorating a steampunk one. So, what we got done today is, let me find the ones we finished. So we've got 2 fully decorated. So we've got this one, which has got the that on the back. And so our pockets up here at the top. And then we've got the little B one. So that can either get attached to a page like this, or I can go back in and add some coffee dyed paper to that. I suspect if I'm going to attach it to a page, I will probably put a little bit of washi along the edge, just to reinforce it. I was also thinking that if I added a piece of paper to this, oops, let's stop, there's our timer, to this, you could attach that as a tuck on your page and have this flip out. But I figured for now, we're just going to create those and then decide later on what they're going to be when they grow up. And so we also got 1, 2, 3, 4 more made and 2 fully decorated, which, you know, again, my mask makes are a work in progress. I'm learning each time I do one for future mask make videos, what I should and shouldn't do. If you have suggestions, thoughts, comments, please feel free to leave a comment down below. Also, if you are new here and are not a subscriber, please do subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything, but it does greatly help my channel to grow and get more viewers. You can also hit the notification bell, which will let you know if you are subscribed anytime that a new video goes up by me, so that you will never miss one of my videos if you do that. I think. I don't know. YouTube does weird things sometimes. But that's all for today. Again, if you enjoyed this video, please hit the little thumbs up button and give me a like. That also helps with my content and getting it out to a wider audience. Thanks for joining me, and happy crafting.